What is up, guys, and welcome back to another day here at Whitley Auto Works. Today we're going to be jumping into a cutting and buffing video on the Camaro. The $160 Rustoleum paint job is finally cured out really good, and yeah, we're going to kind of talk about it for a few minutes and then jump into some cutting and buffing. So let's get into it. So you just finished up your paint job and you didn't use the most ideal conditions. You did it in a dusty old shop, kind of like this right here, or you painted on a day where it was too hot, too humid, and your paint dried too quick. Well, a lot of times that's what causes your orange peel issues, and obviously with painting in a not the cleanest environment, you get some dust and a little bit of everything in your paint job, and you want to fix it, but you don't want to have to go back and completely repaint the car again. Well, there's many ways you could tackle this, guys. The most commonly done, especially if you're going for perfection and a show car or anything like that, is what you would do is you wait for your paint job to cure out really good for about a week at least, and then you can go back, wet sand the whole car with 600 grit and do what they call flow coating, where basically you go back and you pretty much re-clear the car. And that's also the way you would tackle it if you're unsure if you have enough material to actually go back and cut and buff. So two big things with it is you want to make sure your car is clean, which you just saw me wash it and everything else, and you want to make sure you got enough material on it so that you actually can cut and buff without compromising the structural integrity of the whole paint job, and just make sure you have enough material to cut and buff and not burn through everything. I've done 5 good solid coats of clear on this thing, so I am not worried about not having enough material. They do make a little gauge that you can get. They're kind of pricey, so it's one of those things where you just kind of need to know if you got enough material to do it. And yeah, so we're going to get into cutting and buffing today. I got an assortment of sandpaper and stuff here, so let me walk you through what we're going to do with that. And yeah, we'll get into it. Alright, guys, so stuff you're going to need to tackle this job today. You need an assortment of sandpaper. I've actually bought a little kit off of Amazon that ranges everywhere from 400 grit all the way to 7,000. We're definitely not going to need all that, but it was like $7. I got this really good buffer. It comes with an assortment of pads, wool pads, different grit foam pads, sandpaper, a little bit of everything there too. That's going to be in the links in the description. And then I got this Manzerna medium cut and polish, so it's a compound and a polish in one. So I got a bucket of water because that's what you're going to need, and a little soft sponge. I'll leave a link to this too to basically flat sand everything. And basically there's many different ways you can tackle this job, guys. A lot of people typically start at the 800, 1000, or 1500 range depending on how bad everything is. I don't technically recommend starting at 800 grit if you're not used to doing this. I'm going to be starting at 1000 grit myself today, and most people start at 1500 grit, especially if it's minimal orange peel. I got pretty aggressive orange peel and some trash in it that I'm going to try and get out, so I'm going to start at 1000, jump to 2000, jump to 3000, and then we're going to use some of this Manzerna compound and polish to polish everything back out. I'm not going for a complete perfection show car shine on this whole car, and what we're going to primarily focus on is the big flat spot areas on the car where the sun hits it the most, and we're just basically going to clean up do a cleanup treatment and get it shining real good. This is going to be a driver, it's not a show car, so there are many ways to do it. You can be super picky with this. You can spend days, weeks, knocking down everything step by step, going in 500 grit. There's so many ways you do this, guys. There's a million tutorials on YouTube, and yeah, but for purposes of this video, 1000, 2000, 3000, and then we're going to use some of this Manzerna compound and polish to get everything out, and I'll show you everything step by step. So let's pick a section of the car and let's get started. Alright, guys, so I know for some people detailing and stuff like this is kind of a boring video, so just bear with me. I got my water bucket right here. I got a clean microfiber rag so I can wipe everything as we're going and see what kind of work I've done. Also, I'll probably bring in the air hose at times. Everybody loves the tape trick, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a little line right here, and I'm going to separate a section off so you guys can kind of see it really good before and after. And yeah, we're going to tackle a section right here. Typically you want to do about 2 by 2 foot section at a time. You can do the whole panel. It's really however you want. It's going to become apparent really quickly once you start sanding what spots are dull and need to be buffed back and what spots aren't. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I got my little sponge right here. I've had my sandpaper soaking in my water. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with 1,000 grit, and we're gonna start leveling this out. You don't need a bunch of pressure, guys. The rule of thumb with this is let the sandpaper do the cutting, and you just kind of go along with it. And you want to do back and forth motions, one direction. That's the easiest way to minimize scratches. Do not go in circles. We're not trying to, so just back and forth motion, and I'm going to bring you guys in close so you can kind of see me as we do it, and we'll speed along this process, and I'll show you how it's done. Alright guys, so as you can see, this is the untreated area, and this is where I've started sanding. I've been working at it a little bit with 1,000 grit. You can still see a lot of little pits in it. That's your orange peel right there, and see right here with this section how it kind of smooths out a little bit. That's what you want to see consistently over the whole thing. It is a very time consuming, tedious process, but yeah, you just basically want to get out all those little nibs like that so you don't have it looking like an orange. And once we flatten it out, I'll catch back up with you, and I'll show you what it's supposed to look like. Alright guys, so this is where we're at after a few of sanding. As you can see, a lot of the orange peel is gone. There are still little spots very minimally, and we are going to be doing 2 more stages of sanding. The 2,000, 3,000 should get that out pretty good. I kind of made a case to kind of stay away from the edges as good as I could, because you do not want to cut through on those, and we're just primarily focusing on the big areas to try and get out this orange peel. So let's do 2,000 then 3,000, and then we'll get into cutting and polishing. Alright guys, so this is after 2,000. As you can see, compared to areas like that, I've got most of the orange peel out, and I ain't gonna lie, the orange peel was pretty bad on this. So we might have just a little bit left when we're done, but I want to be, I want to make sure I leave enough clear on this, and that's the other thing too. You don't want to cut it down too much. You want to make sure you got enough material. Worst case scenario, you go back and flow coat it. But let's do 3,000, and then we'll move to cutting and polishing. Alright guys, so this is after 3,000. You'll notice some of that shine is starting to come back. See? That's pretty cool. But what's really going to bring the shine back out and get everything nice and smooth is the compound. So let's jump into it. Alright guys, so I got my buffer here. It ranges from speeds from 1 all the way up to 7. I think this thing does about 2,000 RPMs at full speed. I'm going to be running it on a 4, so pretty much halfway today. You don't have to kill it. I've got my medium polishing / cutting compound pad on it, and then I got this Manzerna medium cut. So the first thing you want to do before anything is prime your pad. Okay, so what you want to do is put a little bit of this cutting compound on the pad, and then just kind of work it around on the pad. You ain't got to kill it, but some people are like, that's way too much compound, that's way too much. I am not worried about this stuff. This stuff was like 10, 15, 20 bucks. I mean, here's what it is. You don't want to run your pad dry, because then you got even more of a problem. So to prime your pad, you put it on the surface. Why I start on the surface? Because if you cut it on off the surface, you're going to sling some, probably get some in your eye. So, and then you just let the pad sit there and just hold the trigger for about, I don't know, about 5-10 seconds. And that gets everything consistently on the pad. Alright, so next step is going to be, we're going to actually start buffing on this, and you want to do back and forth motions, and you can do up and down if you want, but basically rule of thumb with this is keep the pad moving. You don't want the surface to get too hot. And yeah, we're going to go back and forth about 4 or 5 times, and then we'll see what we got. So let this do all the work, just guide it along. Alright guys, so I probably don't even have to pull the tape off for you to really see the difference. See how much orange peel is in all of this right here, even up in there? I know I got compound everywhere, but it's part of the job. This is a fiberglass hood, and there are some light scratches still in it, but that's pretty much the overall concept. Here, I'll do that famous tape pull that everybody loves to do. Pull the tape off right here, and then you can really see it. Yeah, so that's before, and that's after. And like I said, I'm using a 2-in-1. It does have some minor scratches still left in it. They can be getting out with a finer finishing polish, but from going from that right there to that right there is a big difference. So let's do the rest of the hood, no tape, and yeah, let's see what we got. Alright guys, so fast forward a little bit and I got one part of the hood sanded all the way to 3000. You can definitely see a difference. Wanted to kind of show you this real quick, and there's the spot that I had done originally. So we're going to buff this out, and then I'll let you see a bigger scale side by side. So yeah, let's get into it. Alright guys, so a little bit later, and we've got half the hood done and half the hood not done. Now you can see a big difference from that side over to that side. Now, did I get every single bit of peel out of it? No, there was a lot in it, but I did make a dramatic difference between the finish, and this is fiberglass as well. So if you see any kind of waves in it, that is the fiberglass. That's just naturally the way it was. And like I said, this is not a show car. We are just doing basically a cleanup job on some of the parts of this car, but that's how we cut and buff. I'm gonna finish the other side and I'll show you guys the end results. Alright guys, so it started raining outside, but I wanted to show you this too real quick. A lot of people are asking about dirt nibs and trash. If you look right here, there's a dirt nib, okay? And the way you get that out is, like I said, they got nothing fancy. It's just my 1000. And you just put a little bit of water on it. Go over that really quickly. And like I said, I've been sanding on this panel. It don't take much. Just let the sandpaper pretty much ride over top. Do the cutting. You wipe away. Look at that. That dirt nib is pretty much gone. You don't see no outline when you cut and buff. And like I said, we haven't even done 2,000 or 3,000 yet. So, well, I couldn't even find it. There you go. And that'll be gone. So that's how you get rid of a little bit of trash. Alright, moving on. Polished? Not polished. Polished? Not polished. Yep. It's time to polish. Alright guys, so that's my basic beginner's guide to cutting and buffing. Now, I will re-emphasize the fact that I am not the ultimate end-all when it comes to cutting and buffing. I'm more so a painter. I've done cutting and buffing for many years, but honestly, just not my favorite thing. It just is what it is. Everybody has their thing. But that's pretty much in a nutshell the beginner's process for how to do it. The compound I used, it was a decent compound. I definitely recommend going with something like Meguires Ultimate Compound and Polish or the 3M Perfected series. Those are really good, both compounds and polishes. And to get that best quality shine out of it with getting rid of all the scratches and everything, a deep compound and a really nice finish polish is highly recommended opposed to what I use today. But this was just basically me showing you the basics. This is a $160 Rustoleum paint job. Dad didn't even want me to cut and buff it. He's told me to just leave it, so he's just going to drive it. And in the future, we're going to tear it and blow it apart and do a full-on restoration on it. So that's why I'm just doing the hood today, and I did this little spot on the front. But yeah, just kind of showing you guys how to do it. Y'all been wanting to see a cut and buff video, and I wanted to give it to you. So this is kind of where we're at with it, guys. The Camaro still has a long ways to go. We still got some more stuff we're going to be doing with it, and you'll just have to stay tuned to find out. If you made it this far in the video and you like what I'm doing out of this raggedy old shop, please hit that subscribe button. Drop me a like and comment. Like I said, I am not a professional detailer or buffer or whatever. I'm just a guy in his backyard showing you guys fun, cool tricks and stuff like that, and how to do stuff and get it done. But I appreciate you guys for watching today. If you want to buy the buffer, any of that stuff, click my link in the description as seen on YouTube. You can go to my Amazon store and purchase everything there. We get a small kickback, but it don't cost you guys anything extra. And that buffer and everything is a really good product. And yeah, that's about it for me today, guys. I appreciate you for watching. I hope you'll like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm John from Whitley Auto Works. I hope you guys have a great day. God bless. And I'll see you guys on the next episode.